Hi, welcome back to PMC Knives and Tools. This afternoon we're looking at the Gerber Wingtip. Now the Gerber Wingtip is advertised as a gentleman's EDC slip joint pocket knife. So this is quite a classic style, but a modern take on a classic style if you like. Now I got this one about 2 years ago. It is, well, how do I put this? It's one that I've always wanted to like, but I've never quite loved it. Let me explain further. So you've got a 2.5 inch blade, full flat grind, fine edge, 7CR steel, slip joint, nail nick, UK legal carry. It's an aluminium scale, as you can see mine got some of the speckled paintwork scratched quite early on. And it has a lanyard hole with a mock chrome, full chrome bolster. So that's about all the technical specs. Beyond that, there isn't much else to say, and I think that's probably the problem. So I got this about 2 years ago. I paid £20 for it from Amazon, I think it was. It's from Gerber's China factory, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, please let me know in the comments. I added this little lace lanyard myself because I found that this just drops to the bottom of my pocket and it's damn hard to fish out thereafter. The edge that came on it from the factory when I opened the packet was crap, rubbish. The factory edge was not good at all. Now, I'm not a knife snob, and I'm not a steel snob, I'm not an edge snob or a sharpening snob. I will put up with edges on knives that other more discerning YouTube guys and knife guys would probably laugh at. Everyone wants mirror polish and everyone wants to be able to put 17-degree angles on them and all this kind of stuff, shaving sharp. I don't really care about that. I just want a knife that's sharp enough to cut up food in boxes and open packets and stuff, and that's fine. This one wasn't. It came from the box really crap. The grind on it was terrible. It was about 20, maybe even 22 degrees per side or something like that, which is for a pretty thin gentleman's quote unquote EDC pocket knife. It's just crap, especially on a full flat grind. It wouldn't cut anything. So I had to resharpen it. That was the first thing. And then I found that it doesn't really fit in my hand. My hands aren't huge. I wear a size medium glove, but it's just too small. And it's not advertised as like a mini knife, like a keychain size Swiss Army knife. Is obviously too small, but this isn't that much smaller and much bigger in the body. It's not, it doesn't fit well in the hand. That's actually why I added the lanyard, to give it something else to feel as I'm holding it. And the lanyard did help a little bit, especially with opening and closing it. I did for a short time add an aftermarket thumb stud as well to make it one hand opening. But the problem was, because the body of it's so short, I had to grab the lanyard with my second hand to use the thumb stud, so it wasn't one hand opening anyway, so I took the thumb stud back off again, put it on a different knife. It looks great, and the build quality is excellent, I have to say. There's no lateral blade movement. The slip joint mechanism has a half stop, which I love. It's got a good snappy action. It's not too mushy in the spring. It's non-threatening. It's classy. The price was pretty decent, like I said a couple of years ago, it was about £25. I like everything about it aesthetically, but in the hand it just does not work for me. You would have to have the hands of a child for this to feel like a full-size pocket knife, which it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be an EDC pocket knife, which to me would be something like, here's a Victorinox Fieldmaster for a perfect example, right? That fits fully in my hand and still has the whole blade available. The Gerber Wingtip does not fit fully in my hand. I've got spare ham meat here, free of knife, and my hand encroaches on the blade because the handle's just too small. Let's do a side-by-side comparison here. So you see how much size you're lacking in the Gerber Wingtip. Now, perhaps it's me, perhaps my hands are too big for the market it was intended for, perhaps I should have read the description a bit better. Who knows? This is a knife that I have mixed feelings about. I love the look, I love the build quality. I hated the edge from the box. I think it's piss poor to deliver a brand new knife in its original packaging from a reputable vendor, not second hand, with an edge that wouldn't cut paper, that wouldn't cut, frankly, anything. That was piss poor. And that's something that Gerber has to work on in its quality control. And I know that lots of other YouTube guys and knife guys and all these people have had lots of strong words about Gerber over the past few years. So I don't want to pile on, and I don't really want to add fuel to that fire. This is just my one experience with this one knife, and I own other Gerbers that I like. You'll have seen my review of the Quadrant on my channel. But you should never be sending out a knife with an edge that isn't properly sharp. That's just not good enough. Especially on a knife like this, which has a full flat grind and a beautiful, drop point tip, which has all the ergonomics and all the dimensions that should make it very, very slicey and very capable of cutting well. Get the right grind on that, and it'll be a great slicing knife. And I have sharpened it, and it is sharper now than it was. But it's 70R steel. It's never going to hold its edge for that long. Which isn't that much of a concern for me, because due to the fact that it's somewhat undersized, I don't carry it very often. I go through little phases sometimes of trying to love it, trying to like it, trying to carry it, but it's just too small to comfortably work in my hand as a full-size knife. And that's a real shame, because I think it looks fantastic, I think it looks very classy, and I think the build quality of it is excellent. Terrible factory edge aside. So there you go, that was my experience of the Gerber Wingtip. Let me know what you guys think of the Gerber Wingtip, of slip joint knives, of undersized knives, what problems you've had with knives that came that weren't quite what you expected, and if I'm completely wrong, be sure and let me know. Take care.